She's sitting down with one arm probably still over the back of Francis's shoulders as he helped her sit down, and a water skin dangling in her hand. Still panting, she says, "You can believe whatever you want from me, Mr. Ardavian, but I'm here to tell you the Hierophant is going to attack Brig."
Yeah, his eyes go totally steely. You see like a flash of lightning as the full nervous system of his ethered water hand sort of appears within it, kind of crackling for a moment. I have to reach Nori. I have to tell her. I have to tell the Voltaics. And almost immediately, he starts pressing against the barriers of his own mind so hard, just like trying to form the mental connection with Nori. Do you think he's done it a few times at short distance, right? And he's just, even if it takes weeks, he has to start doing it now if he has any chance. And he starts pushing out towards her across Perian.
Does he look like he's physically straining himself right now?
Probably, yeah. You see for a moment, like he's focusing as he loads back. He sort of heads back towards the back of the cart, and he says, "We have to go. We have to get on the road." And as he does so, you see the arm is like sort of starting to ice over with his attempt to focus as he is beginning to sweat.
You're outside the cart. She's still in the cart and definitely will not want to move in this moment. So she will elevate her voice so that it could still reach you. She says, "I saw things from the perspective of the Oracle Sabina, I believe, with utmost certainty. The Hierophant said so himself."
Interesting. Plato has started like trying to retack the horses, right, and get the cart ready to move since we've been watering them. I believe you, Sherrilyn, and thank you. I hope you will not blame me for not delaying further.
She's solemnly nodding. You can tell that she has an understanding for how you're feeling in this moment.
If we have to get to Natchez Rally as soon as possible, somewhere we can send a message. I should have told her before. I look over at Sherrilyn, not with blame, but like with a little bit of anger that he's lost control, that he has to face this reality. I shouldn't have kept it vague before. I should have told her it was Medea. I should have told her there was a chance. It's done now. We must go.
She bites down whatever she was going to say as you're going off on your dejected rambling and turns her face aside. And she'll continue talking to Francis as Plato is getting everything ready to go. She won't stop you in that. That's definitely, they're aligned in that desire. She'll say to Francis and Inara, I believe, who is also in the cart, "I heard him speaking of the Emperor's revival. They're going to make a distraction. Perhaps their attack might be part of that. Perhaps they're making a distraction for their attack on Brig. It was unclear to me. It was a very brief vision, not the one that I desired to see, nor I would ever desire to see."
Well, regardless of the fact of whether or not this attack on Brig itself is the main thing or simply a distraction for another grander thing, potentially regarding this emperor figure, the attack is going to happen regardless. And for their all sakes and for Plato's sake, I believe that heading there now is the best course of action, as it is our most definitive path forward, even if it is based off a vision you had.
You believe me?
I believe that it is our best way forward.
Plato finishes what he can. I think for a second he'll probably turn to Rourke. This is more dangerous than I think you planned on. Thank you for your help so far.
I understand the importance. Another change of leadership at such an unstable time could result in a return to a culture that none of us want to see live on. But I must say, aren't we losing sight of the thing we were saying before? This was a drug-induced vision. All of you were so casual with saying that the drugs were causing it, and I mean, I trust Sherrilyn, don't get me wrong, she seems of great character, but...
I look back over my shoulder at Sherrilyn and then at Rourke. The Hierophant did not take her with him, and she is not a spy as far as I can tell. So I think she is connected to something important, and I cannot pretend that this is not a threat. especially when I want to head towards Perian anyway. Yes, I appreciate your understanding, Rourke. And then I'll head back towards Sherrilyn and the cart.
While she was experiencing this drug-induced vision, was she able to feel what Sabina was feeling emotionally at the time?
I would say yes, and I think it is a numbness that is overwhelming, like a complete inability to kind of even actively process of fear of hurting further. Like it is somebody who is there but is actively trying to be out of their body, so much so that it easily allowed somebody else to take over their body, right? Like when you moved your hand, it moved right away. There was no resistance. Whatever being is there is trying very hard not to be.
I think she'd need an extra minute to process everything. Once she had relayed the important information, everyone springing into action, she'd take a second where she was sat in the back of the carriage and she would lean over her knees with her face in her hands, having felt this emptiness that she has never felt before in her life.
Seeing her bent over, Inara will walk over and gently start supporting Sherrilyn around the shoulders. I don't think it's a good idea for you to ride just yet. Stay here out of the sun and recover. I will tie Harkin to the rest of the horses. And she'll sit her back down before hopping out of the carriage and going to handle her warhorse.
She'll give you a wordless nod, still hiding her face. She doesn't really want to share how she's really feeling in that moment. But she'll allow you to handle her horse, or to assume that you can handle her horse.
Hopefully he'll let me.
Hopefully Harkin's a gentleman.
I'm hoping he's seen how close his mistress and I have become, and he'll take that as a good sign.
Or he'll be jealous.
I was going to say, or he's horse jealous.
We'll find out if I get bit in the next 10 seconds.
Harkin's huffy with you. Um, he's questioning why someone dare handle him besides his actual handler.
As soon as he starts acting up, Inara reaches into her bag and pulls out an apple.
His ears perk right up.
She immediately goes to bribery. She doesn't even attempt to handle the horse or copy any of your skills, and starts luring him towards the rest of the horses. She in no way knows what she's doing, so to her, she's just following like this simplest, most straightforward logic is just tie the horse to the same bar that the other horses are tied to, and voila, job done.
I have to imagine that the tie isn't actually that effective at all. And I mean, he's a massive horse, right? So even if you did that, I'm sure he could break free if he wanted to. But he goes along. He's tempted by the apple. He's following you as you lure him.
Yeah. So she holds out the apple with one hand and literally just wraps it around and then does a quick like double knot. And to her, then she looks really proud of herself, like job done, hands the horse the apple and just stands there for a second like studying. She's like, I think for my first time, this was great. And turns around and walks away. Doesn't question what she just did at all.
Yeah, mid chomp of the apple, he makes a sound that sounds vaguely like a raspberry, like. Yeah.
So Sherrilyn, you are in the back of the cart?
Yes, her face is in her hands. She's leant over her knees.
Plato finishes what he can do with the horses, leaving the rest of it to Mikhail and Rock, and then we'll go back around and brush himself off, and then step up into the cart and look at Sherrilyn. All right, so you and I unfortunately need to have a conversation. Originally, I was hoping maybe it could be part of the game, but I think our friends Francis and Inara have the right of it, and it should all come out. I need to know.
She looks up at you. Her face is sweaty still. She's looking quite tired, drained from her experience on the slip. But she's meeting your eyes steadily, listening.
I give her my water skin, offer it over to her. The military capabilities of your country, the Hierophant. How would he attack Breg?
Sherrilyn hesitates to take the water skin from you, but she does. And she slowly brings it to her lips and takes a generous sip before responding. And she would say, despite the perception of my country's military might that all of your countries may have, we do not have such a large force as you might assume. rather some expertly trained fighters, a strong few. But they are all foot soldiers or some sorcerers.
To reach Breg on foot across Perian would be very difficult with foot soldiers. I don't think they seek to invade, just cause a distraction. You are a general of their military. How would you get those forces there?
You see her gaze flicker to the side as she deeply considers this. Because though she is general of the Medean military, she's never had to do this before. Her country has never been in conflict so long as she's been alive. But she thinks, when we traveled to the peace meet, we took a longer route, probably than was necessary.
Right?
Down the cliffside and around through the waterways and back up. And that took several weeks. So upon reflection, thinking how quickly the Hierophant and the Oracle Sabina have returned to Medea, they must have used some kind of sorcery to return there. Perhaps spell work of some kind.
I am sorry, but I do not think spell work could reach the interior of my country in this way. That he could launch an attack against Breg, the most protected of our cities. Just think on this. I have one other question.
I'll answer it to the best of my abilities, but I think it is best that we do not underestimate the strength of the Hierophant, as we have both discovered.
I am not. I ask only that you consider what his strategy may now be. If you are sure that he is going to attack Breg.
She takes a deep breath and she steeples her hands in front of her. I'm quite sure of what I saw, of what I heard. But I believe you were inquiring of his character, of him as a man, and the decisions that he would make.
All you have told me is that he leads a cult within your country.
A recent revelation which I am still trying to piece apart from the Hierophant that I have known in my decades of life.
All right. My second question determines where I feel we should go next. Why are there two oracles? Even an outsider like me knows enough of your country to know that it is an aberration. I saw her outfit at the Temple of the Lost, the one you cradled. We are seeking a second oracle? Why? If she is at the observatory, if there's a chance, I must know why.
Sherrilyn furrows her brows at the conclusion of your question. You've asked me two separate questions, Mr. Ardavian. You are asking me why there is more than one oracle, and simultaneously, why are we chasing one oracle and not the other? Am I understanding you correctly?
Well, I honestly can logically conclude the other one. You said you were in the body of the Oracle Sabina when you got the vision. I would assume that means that that Oracle is by the Hierophant. No need to chase someone whose direction we know. So answer the first part. Two oracles. Why? You said the Hierophant speaks with the voice of the Oracle. Two voices? Does not seem correct, especially one that is wandering the wilderness.
This has been the best kept secret of Medea for centuries. Only people of Sherrilyn's order would know the answer to this question, and you can see her worrying over whether or not to respond to you with accurate information. She purses her lips.
From Plato's point of view, he's trying to find a reason that you aren't a political prisoner. Like, we're going to reach Perian soon. That's his country where he could maybe imprison someone. And right now you are an agent of a country that is going to try and go to war with his. I mean, he looks very serious. And I think, honestly, after you evaded the first version of him asking the question, after you tried to ask which of his two questions to try and move out of it, he cast Detect Thoughts.
I think she would be able to ascertain that you were trying to decide whether or not she should be a political prisoner, as you said, moving forward. I can choose to fail that, can I?
You can, but I'm not probing deeper. I'm just listening to surface thoughts initially, as I re-asked the question about the second oracle. I try to see what your surface thoughts are. Normally, we've had a lot of arguments, and he hasn't asked a lot about your military capabilities. He needs to know now.
How do you see them?
I think I just hear them.
I think that it would come out as a bunch of overlapping, whispering sounds. There's clarity to the whispering. She would say, there have been many oracles, Mr. Ardavian, but Sabina is the last, and Diana, the previous. And the fact that she still lives is a miracle in of itself.
So, what? She was sent away? An oracle?
Yes.
And she is not supposed to be alive.
No. She's really making you fish for answers here.
I'm still reading your thoughts, so is there anything on the top there?
I think you would probably hear a semblance of her romantic urgency to go after Diana. I think that would probably be the most urgent thing that you would hear, like the most prominent of the whispers that come through in your spell. Like, I have to find her. I have to find her.
So your hierophant does not know she is alive?
I would assume not.
Nor your country. The oracle is the voice of the people, you said that. All right. Think on the strategy of the hierophant before we get to Perian.
She'll tack on for free. The oracle is the messenger of the Watcher's word on our earth.
Voice of the Watcher. That's what it was. All right.
Hierophant, there's disdain in her voice. The Hierophant is more of an interpreter.
Well, I turn away from Sherrilyn and I say, well, there's no chance that we will reach Breg in time, I think. So we must find a way to send a message.
My intentions are pure, Mr. Ardavian, if that was still in the question.
Turns back over his shoulder.
She offers you back your water skin.
And what are your intentions, Sir Astalda? I have found them hard to ordain. I have found them as difficult to understand as the actions of your country. They both are and aren't a thing. They hide, they counteract. Tell me what it is now that you want, your intentions. Is it just this woman?
My attachments to my country lie with Diana alone.
I still have detect thoughts going. I think in this moment, I do push deeper. And I see if I guess you could try and make the save. I guess I'll see if you'll let me. It would be a wisdom saving throw.
She can sense that you're casting this now?
So yeah, you would feel it.
I still don't think that she would resist.
Okay. And you are being honest. It's all Diana.
You would you hear thoughts as words. This would be hard to convey, this thought, because I feel like her thoughts are very photographic.
Yeah, no, if it's something else, I think it's totally fair that Plato sees it like something over you, like a shifting watery vision or something like that. I think that also makes sense. I like the idea that the tech thought spells works different depending on what kind of communicator or learner you are. It would be great.
Yeah, so in that case, because she is so photographic in her thoughts, he would see, and it's very hazy, like you said, it's like maybe it's very watery, but the scene is dark. And he would see this silhouette of a tree line in the background. And there are these distorted lights. You could probably ascertain are like torches or something from the semblance of a crowd. They're a short distance away, but most notably what he would see from her perspective, as he is detecting her thoughts, it is from her perspective. He would see a person who probably looks just like a white silhouette in front of her lean closer, and a sensation as if they were touching.
Plato realizes it's from your point of view as this happens, and he finally understands maybe one true thing about Sherrilyn that he can hold on to and know, which is that Sherrilyn loves this woman, and he can work with that.
She's blushing intensely. But she did let him see that, or experience that, or hear that, however he perceives it.
No, I think you see him immediately almost soften at the idea of trying to recapture a lost love. His shoulders go a little limp, and he says, I would like to make haste for Netta's rally, but maybe the observatory is worth looking into.
I think the horses are ready to go. Rourke and Mikkel have finished doing what is needed, and we are still at that kind of tri-dimensional fork in the road. We have three paths. The one that leads to the monument of truth that stands within Luxoria, one that leads along a broken gorge to a building that Warwick described as a massive structure with an even bigger metal brass telescope filled with the people of Medea. And then, of course, the path forward being the most direct path towards Nether's Rally as intended. So what way are we looking to go?
Sherrilyn isn't charging ahead as she usually does. After the conclusion of their conversation, their mind to mind, she will remain in the cart and allow Plato to make the call, or whoever else would like to give their input.
If we want to take a vote, I say we head straight into Perian. But there are things we don't know. And like I said, it's not like we can get to Bragg. We just need to get somewhere where we can send a message. A group of Medean high elves seems like that is a possibility. I don't think the tower will allow me to send a message, and at this point I can't think of a yes or no question more pressing than the attack on Bragg, so that would be out for me. What are you all thinking?
Inara saw how upset Sherrilyn was, and just the fact that she readily shared this information after wanting so badly to go save whoever this person that's clearly important to her is. She's going to be like, I feel I'm willing to go where you guys think it's best. And she'll agree to head straight to Perian and not stop.
It may make one final pitch for the monument, Rourke says. I know that each of us can only ask one question a day, but perhaps, Plato, if you refine yours enough, you could get a timeline on this attack. And then when we get a message across, it's even more useful. Just throwing that out there as my final pitch. I would again like to use my question to ask about the letter from the living god. Just throwing that out.
I will turn and look over to Rourke, and I will say, that is only true if the date is set. If it is subjective, will the tower be able to answer the question?
He kind of looks around. He has no idea.
Well, Rourke, if you want to ride for the tower and meet us in Netter's Rally, if we are, that would be fair. As I said, this was all maybe a little heavier than you intended.
I'm still pretty young. I have time. It's fine. I would like to travel alongside you. A little bit longer. This is the most fun I've had in a while, looking at each of you.
Hard to say, being out in the desert, going our way into a country that's about to be attacked can be considered fun, but that's up to you.
He laughs. So we're just going straight forward?
It's tough because we can't go to the observatory and then through into Perian, right? We'd have to climb a mountain if we went that way or cross the crag.
Yeah. Like, if you were trying to continue going into Perian, you would have to cross the mountain, but in order to continue going forward, you would have to cross a gorge, like an empty gorge.
I feel like a place that has funding from the Luxorian government and high elves and is studying the stars in Luxoria might have the ability to cast a sending spell. And Plato is a little bit interested in trying to find Diana because it seems like she could be useful for multiple reasons.
Distortion.
I meant more like maybe he could get some sort of handle on controlling Sherrilyn or knowing how to deal with Sherrilyn.
Hostage situation, even better.
It's not a hostage situation. We're taking all these
We've
things out of...
returned to a hostile situation. I let you see her most intimate moment.
Yeah, look, and we're on the other side of that now, and I was just going to say I still am sort of needed to look at it like a chess match. I'll go back to Sherrilyn, and I'll say, the vision you saw of Diana crossing into Perian, you said just blue marble shot cliffs, right? Nothing more specific than that. No observatory.
Back to see me again, are you, Mr. Ardavian? You can tell she's finally returning to her usual self.
You are, right now, an abundant font of information, which I like very much. Information, I mean, you being a font, I'll go back and forth on.
She chuckles a little, but she does genuinely want to get some kind of answer out of Plato in return. Yes, that is all that I saw. A cart passing through the mountains and blue stone and setting sun.
Did the mountain range that you saw in this vision, Work speaks up, did it have water flowing?
I don't believe so.
So that means if they were crossing into Perian, it was not at the riverside we are heading towards.
But they were in a cart, correct?
Yes, much like ours. Their lead on us is unclear.
This is difficult for me. Are your people known in magic? Would they have a sending spell, you think? Would they be able to communicate? Would they be welcome to doing it for outsiders?
Do I think they would be capable of casting the spell? And would they aid you with the spell? I think are two separate matters. To the first, yes, I think they are more than capable of casting the spell, and to the latter, likely not.
You're right. It is too much of a liability. I was hoping we could gather something. I feel so naked without more information. But let us go. The Nether's rally, yes, if all of you are agreeable.
I don't think any of us want to see another tragedy like the one we experienced at the meet. And so she hurries towards her seat at the head of the carriage.
Yeah, brain math wise, 10 hours with Sherrilyn's idea that they might not be immediately helpful. It's too much. It's too much.
So we are headed due south, continuing our way to the active riverway that leads directly into Perian and to Nether's Rally proper. As you all continue moving forward, remind me again the cart situation where everyone is as we continue. The horses are retacked, watered, and ready to ride out.
So, yeah, Harkin will be leading the pack. Inara sitting up front. I don't know if anyone else is joining her.
Yeah, if Sherrilyn is still inside the cart, Plato will have sat up front also.
Yes, Sherrilyn is taking a break inside of the cart, though Harkin at the front of this parade will turn over his horse shoulder, and look at Inara quizzically, like, huh?
Yeah, Inara looks at the horse and turns to Plato for a second and be like, I don't speak horse. And she turns back and goes, and she motions with her hands to keep moving forward and goes, go, go.
As a help action, I will form a psychic... if you're going to ask for animal handling.
Mm-hmm.
As a help action, I will form a psychic connection with Harkin, and I will say, excuse me, sir, if you would please lead our carriage across the desert.
I mean, the go-go worked, honestly. I'm not going to call for animal handling check. He's an incredibly well-trained horse.
I'm going to keep talking to the animals.
But yes, you also talk into his brain, and he looks spooked, but he registers it. So who else in the cart? Who else driving the cart? There's a bench for 4. Can we just clarify that real quick?
I think it's going to be Shaylin and Francis inside the actual cart, and then Inara and Plato up front driving the actual cart, and then Rourke and the old boy and Leilani are probably going to be on their own horses alongside.
Leilani's the one that's in the back of the cart, so I think she would have probably stayed there.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, Leilani is back here with us, with them. But I think Rourke and Mikhail were on their own horses, if they wanted to remain as such.
All right, sounds good to me. Plato and Inara, as you're on the front of the cart, you can either give me 2 survival checks or 1 at advantage here.
What's your plus?
I got +0, so if you have anything, you go ahead and do it at advantage.
Is it a wisdom-based or int-based skills now that you're looking at it?
Wisdom.
Okay, so why don't you just go ahead and make it twice? I think it is better.
Okay.
I'm not wise. So I will keep a weather eye, and I will look out across the desert. What about that?
Okay, that's a 12 for survival.
Yeah, as you all continue making your way south over the course of a couple of hours, Plato keeping watch and are guiding the horses, keeping this formation tight, traveling through, again, just the absolute hottest day that you've experienced, no clouds in the sky. I think that at the very least, work goes completely shortless. His bird abs exposed, tying his shirt kind of around his neck as the sun beats down overhead.
Meep.
We all continue forward.
He was so sweaty before, and now he is shirtless again.
We get to a point where it kind of narrows out. And as Plato watches, looking ahead, you guys have been residing that normal and steadied course of up and down these massive dunes. The horse is getting more and more used to it. Their chitinous hoof guards from the ink kegs, kind of protecting them from the harshest part of this elements, despite the heat. You all keeping them well watered with the water left over from the trick barrels. As you all continue forward, you see what looks like kind of ruinous structures, like ruins, definitely like ancient nomadic dragonborn structures that have kind of dilapidated over time as they've become more nomadic. Very, very ancient. And they seem to be kind of built into this downward slope that goes into a plateau housing the next part of the Dune Sea. It's very narrow, and even with a 12,
you think it would be a pretty good spot for an ambush, but you don't see another way around.
She points out the structure to Plato. She'll look at him and be like, I'm not the greatest at strategy here, but we have to go through. Should we?
If I am up front, I guess if I am driving, I will pull on the reins to stop the carriage as soon as Inara points this out to me. Thank you, Hawken.
The equestrian is currently indisposed of. Please come back later.
Rourke yells out parallel to you as it takes him a second to register that they're slowing down as he slows down. Why are we stopping?
Inara points out the passageway that we would go through. We would be very exposed, and our response would be very limited in a space tight as that. Perhaps one of you should ride ahead and scope it out?
I look at Hawken.
Yes. Rourke puts his finger to his nose. Perhaps one of us should go scope it out.
Sherrilyn opens the back doors of the carriage and leans out to assess the situation as she hears yelling outside.
Wait, one moment. Sherrilyn, lean back.
Leans back in.
I hit the button underneath the bench that opens the accordion door.
It folds open.
Ah.
There we go.
Thank you. What's going on out here?
Inara seems to have discovered a location that she thinks might be treacherous to us, and was hoping someone might ride ahead to see if there's an ambush awaiting. I look at Inara.
You never know where bandits may lie. As she looks back towards the crag and then stops to think. And then there is the fact that we are actively pursuing a cult.
That is the way to put it.
So you are looking for someone to assess the danger of the situation? Is this a request of me?
I mean, are you feeling well? It seems that Hawken is raring to go if you would like to be our outrider. I unfortunately am not skilled with illusion, so I don't know that I can make any other sort of, I've forgotten the word, decoy? It's fully gone.
Well, if you would like someone capable, I'm sure I could muster the strength to go and ride out. I am much improved now. Promise.
Is that true? Like, looking at Sherrilyn, she's a high elf, right? Like, she's recovered from the slip?
Yeah, she's fine. Some emotional damage, but she's fine.
She'll live if that's what you're asking.
You're her best rider. If you would like to go forward, we can all, prepare actions, a counterattack? What are you thinking, Inara?
Oh, she turns to you looking a little surprised and be like, I only know what to look out for, not really how to respond to it. Usually the guards are in charge of that, she says and looks down.
Well, in that case, Sherrilyn hops out of the back of the cart, rounding it to the front of the tethered horses, and she sees the hack job that Inara did tethering Harkin to the other horses.
Watching you approach, Inara actually perks up because she's still quite proud of her handiwork, so she's expecting you to turn around and give her some kind of compliment.
I think she feels your expectant eyes in the back of her head. And as she reaches down to untie these quite loose knots that are holding Harkin to the rest of the horses, she turns and gives you a thumbs up.
Inara looks immensely proud of herself and turns to Plato.
I'm wondering if a thumbs up requires a deception check.
Would you like one? I'm happy to roll one.
I will say, if you do have to do one, I would make it an advantage, because Inara totally thinks that she is, crushed this.
I only ask about the deception check because I think Plato is going to try and look at Sherrilyn and discern.
Okay, I rolled a 19 total on deception. It's very convincing.
It's a good thumbs up.
It's a fucking Dale Cooper level thumbs up. I'd have to roll a natural 20. I got a 12. Sorry to roll things Rob hasn't asked for.
She's taking extra time to unravel the reins just to make her feel better.
Plato looks at Inara and goes, yes, good job.
I am constantly surprised at all of my skills.
You're growing every day. So about this situation with the ambush, one would think, Plato points to the ridges. So you said we was down into a lower plateau, right?
Yes, this kind of gate-like structure is to a lower part of the plateau here. I think looking over as you all get closer as well, there is a set of symbols on the nearby mountain wall here that I think Inara would recognize. It's a rarer symbol for sure, and it can be translated in a lot of different ways: harmful, dangerous. But there is a label for an oasis. The best translation you could looking at the symbol is cursed oasis, like to the south, like directly ahead of you all, a ways out. This is like the first sign you're seeing.
We've encountered these symbols before, haven't we?
Yes, the oasis symbol.
Plato copied it down in his journal when we went, sir. Such is interesting.
Sherrilyn rides up on her horse next to Plato as he is looking down at his journal, contemplating. What is it?
You said the other symbol. This is Dragonborn, right? This is how they communicate, the Dragonborn tribes?
Yes, this is how they leave messages for each other as they travel through the deserts.
Oh, goodness me. Do you does anyone have a dagger on them? A big sword? I don't know, some you have some paints.
What are you thinking?
Wait, I will see if I can use acid to do it. I want to go to the outside of the cart and burn the word not over the turgy.
Using like acid splash.
Yes, I will use. Yeah, I have acid splash as a cantrip. Actually, thank you so much. That no one offers me a dagger. I go outside and I with handprints. I acid splash from the palm of my hand. I place my hand. It almost looks like a turkey, like turkey drawings.
Is Mr. Ardavian finger painting?
Inside the cart, you just hear, "Boo, boo," and in handprints writes "not" over the turgy.
Francis was just looking out the cart and just watching Plato just finger paint on the cart, and he's like, I never thought of acid being used in this manner, but good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Inara's leaning almost horizontally on the front bench, so be able to see across over to the side, and she's just watching you go,
smearing it like finger paint.
As she was trying to figure out what you're doing, and when it starts to come together, I guess the message, because in the beginning it just looks like you're slapping at the card. Oh, well, that's one way to do it, I guess.
Yes, the party is nodding together. Oh.
Pictionary.
We all thought he lost it, and we all just stopped and waited.
Everyone's just collectively waiting to see what is
It's the best I can do for right now.
I mean, it works. Whether or not anyone will buy it, we shall wait to see. But then she turns back to look towards the passage and lets you guys know, my expectation is that on our way to the peace meet, we probably passed passageways like this that the guards purposely avoided to get to the peace meet safely, what with all the important people on board the caravan. And when Inara asked why we weren't just cutting through, it was explained to her that these were great places for ambushes and that bandits usually set up there to be able to get at supply wagons and other contraband that can be coming across that particular border. So she'll turn and explain all this to you guys and be like, I don't know what they would have done if we had to cross it, because we avoided all of them, but I was told of the dangers that they represent.
Well, we will keep a weather eye.
So would you still like me to ride ahead, or are we relying on Mr. Ardavian's finger painting?
Nope, go ahead. He sort of does this.
Oh, you're waving her off. Okay. Yes. She'll roll her eyes with her head and then gently drive her heels into Harkin's sides, and she'll start trotting ahead of the carriage, not too far away, but a fair distance in front.
I want to hold an action to Eldritch Blast anyone that attacks.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
map-wise, let's get Harkin
Yes, the many horses.
here,
Oh god, the many named horses.
Sherrilyn there.
They are all named, which means surely they won't die.
So the rest of you are just off the map before this opening. Hi, Sherrilyn. You are on Harkin's horseback. You've kind of detached him from the rest of the horses that were leading the cart. He feels at home again. You astride him.
So we are currently traversing the edge of a rocky crag. Am I understanding that? And it leads down into this sandy pit area?
Yeah. Is this the crag that the observatory is on the other side of, or is this a different crag?
If you had turned left earlier, you would have gone along the crag. This is the bottom of it.
So we see the path before us that goes through the mountains, but no observatory.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Sherrilyn learned some valuable lessons in their fight with the Enkegs when they reached the oasis last time, and it wasn't readily apparent to her at first that she would be riding Harkin from rock to sand. But I think Harkin comes to a halt on the edge of the sand, and there's this moment of calculation from her where she will dismount the horse and kneel beside the sand waiting for a moment. She's looking for movement. And then if she sees nothing, she's going to use the butt of her spear and start thudding it into the sand.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, 18 plus 2 for a dirty 20.
For just a moment or two, behind this rocky structure right here, you see what look like the ears of a wolf and eyes, kind of like peeking out from behind the rock to look at you. But the height is such that it's much more humanoid looking rather than wolf-like. And you just catch it for a second. This kind of like dirty gold looking fur kind of peek out and then poke whatever it is back in.
She makes note of this, waits a second, and then makes the thudding again to see if it reappears.
It does not.
She remounts Harkin and rides him back to the carriage. And she asks Inara specifically, are there any canine type creatures who reside in your territory, my lady?
Absolutely. Creatures of all kinds can be found traversing Luxoria.
We know I am poor at describing things with which I am unfamiliar. How about those that are hairy with, and she holds up her hands to the top of her head, ears, yellow, very tall as I.
I point at Inara's ears. Like these?
Not quite as rounded, more. She changes the angle of the hands against her head as if it was gonna make more of a difference.
And we're back to Pictionary. She's just like trying to guess what you saw, but clearly it was a person.
Well, it is no great insect, but I'm not sure I would venture so far as to call it a person. I could not say. All I saw were their ears.
Not an insect is good.
Yes, quite.
Unless one of us wants to shout and see if we can communicate with them, I see no option besides heading forwards. I really would like to get to Netter's Rally as soon as possible.
Why are the sides of this passage? Like to climb up and try to get like almost a bird's eye view into the crevice we're about to travel across?
Yeah, so this is definitely a downward passage, right? That you're on equal foot with right now. So the ramp that Sherrilyn is on, you have to imagine as like a pretty downward angle that goes for a little while. You could retrace your steps and go along the edge and make that left turn towards the observatory and be on the top, like along the top of the mountain ridge.
Okay,
but
that's quite a ways.
Yeah, from this position, it would require, I mean, you might be able to climb the mountainside to get a good view of behind their pillar. It would just require some pretty extensive climbing.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Like, how hard of a climb would it be? But it sounds like it's pretty much a cliff.
If I may assist, they appeared to hear my thudding whilst I was down there. So if you would like to try and communicate with them, my lady, as they are creatures of your land, you could accompany me and try to speak with them yourself.
It's certainly worth a shot, but if they have ill will planned for us, talking to them won't potentially help.
The edge of her lips quirks up and she offers down a hand to you. She says, I swear I shall not directly charge them as I did before.
Inara snickers at that and goes, well, that's good enough for me. We faced worse on this journey already. And takes your hand and jumps onto the back of your horse. Already pretty familiar with this position, so she's good to go.
So then they shall ride back down to the edge of this ramp where Sherrilyn was thudding her spear before, and she will say, pointing in the direction where she saw the ears before, "This is where I glimpsed the creature. If you would like to call to them, perhaps they are still there."
Inara peeks her head out from behind your back and looks across, trying to see if she can catch the glimpse of anything. I'm assuming they're well hidden at this point. So she calls out, "Good day. We are a small group with nothing much except for supplies to get us through the desert. All we need is to get to Nether's Valley. We mean no harm." And she waits to see if anyone responds.
You hear a series of howls in response to that, especially when you say supplies. It's not wolf-like; it's a higher pitch than that.
Like a jackal?
And there's 5, yeah, like a jackal.
Mhm.
You hear at least 5 or 6 echo in response coming from different parts of the ruins in front of you here.
I feel like you got their attention.
Yeah, Inara leans close to Sherrilyn and goes, "I don't know what that means."
Go ahead and roll me a history check, Inara.
History. So that's an 11 plus 5, so 16 for history.
Yeah, there are a couple of jackal-like beings in the desert. There are jackals, of course, but given the propensity to hide and set up an ambush here, you think it's probably a creature with higher intellect. Your best guess would probably be a group of jackal wares, a group of lycanthrope-like beings that have been turned into half jackals, half humanoid-like creatures. Specifically in the desert, in this area, in Luxoria, there are a species of jackal wares known as scorch runner jackal wares that are gold specifically and aren't the darker coloring. And they stand at as high as a human's waist with a coat of beautiful dirty gold fur. 2 ridges of calloused flesh run along its back, dotted with fleshy bulbs that grow orange. They are absolutely at the strongest when there are no clouds in the sky and the sun is at its peak.
That being said, what's the weather like today?
Yeah. Did you say that they were mutated also?
Yes.
Yeah, what is the weather like today?
As described a few times, it is the hottest day by a wide margin with 0 clouds in the sky.
Unfortunate.
So having heard the howls, Inara, I guess, recognizes what specifically is hiding out there. Does she know anything personally, like from her lessons about the desert? Like, are these groups of what did you say? Scorch bears?
Scorch runner.
Scorch runners? Are they known for being like particularly aggressive, or do they go after they motivated by gold?
Yeah, definitely. Usually, hunger is their main driver.
Okay.
I will say they usually only hunt on hot days without clouds. That is when they feel safe, and they hide very deep into burrows at nighttime, because they're almost powerless without the sun high in the sky. So they kind of get rare opportunities to be at their full power. They hunt as much meat as they can, return it to their thing, and stock up. The other thing that you would know is that there have been leatherworkers who've used their hide before to create incredibly fire resistant materials, as they inherently can manipulate fire. And you would also know, with your 16 riding on that, they are immune to fire damage, as they can withstand and absorb the heat of the sun all day long.
Fuck.
Yep. So yeah, Inara will lean close towards Sherrilyn and be like, "I think we should retreat back to our group. These are jackalwares." And she looks up at the sky and be like, "Our luck is not on our side today if we are to face off with a whole group of them."
Well, we can hardly go around them, nor can we waste the time waiting for the sunlight to leave.
Perhaps that's a choice we need to make as a group. The sun has already worn a lot of us down. I'm sure Plato is suffering, if not the horses as well. Maybe a short break until we figure something else out. And she urges you to turn back.
Better idea. We return the horses up the cliffside, and then we deal with these scavengers, and we'll be on our way afterwards.
Again, maybe this is something we should discuss as a group, she says, remembering how slightly overconfident you can get when it comes to facing things off.
Fine, fine. Yes, I see that look on your face.
You all definitely see movement, by the way, not towards you in your direction, as a full golden jackal on all four legs runs from this cliffside here to this cliffside here, like across your field of vision, as you guys are discussing.
All right, let's leave the horse up the cliff and we will return with our party. She'll urge the horse back up the cliff for the second time, back to where the carriage is stopped.
Sounds good. Yeah, the Harkin's a mighty and muscular horse, but this kind of direct upward climb twice in a row is wearing him out just a little bit as he slows down, compared to his last climb.
She'll stop him beneath where the cliffside has cast the thinnest of shadows, just enough for him to have some reprieve from the hot sun, and help Inara off of his back. She will approach the carriage and say, "Well, we have discovered the strange creatures which lie below," makes the motion with her hands on her head.
All right. What are we dealing with?
Would it be another bear?
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily a bear, but definitely a mutated creature, she says, and looks towards Plato. These are jackal wares that have, let's say, evolved around these parts.
That makes sense.
Do hunt in groups, and they are their strongest under a full sun, she says, and looks up at the sky.
Well, we can't very well wait for the sun to be gone, so do you want to run it?
Verily, what I said.
Yes, we are on a timetable. We must get to Netta's rally.
Well, then maybe we should make sure the horses are well watered and rested before we make this crossing, because if any of them slows down, then we are all at risk.
Well, how long was it since we learned about the Breg thing? We fought it then, correct?
Yeah, it's been about 2-3 hours as you continue traveling due south.
So
along the path to Nutter's Rally. Yeah, I mean they're pretty well watered right now, but they could take another break if you wanted to.
Either way, we cannot tarry long.
Yes.
So either we convince them not to assail us, or we handle them.
I say we run it.
The best way to convince them would be we could distract them with some type of food.
You have a lot of food on you? I mean, we could leave one of the horses behind, but I have
That is not an option.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't say the word horse and focused on food.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do not have like a lot of other food besides the...
Horses are not food.
Well, I have described it as a horse buffet. So, obviously, if that is not a plan, I would say we just run it. We just go straight through as fast as we can. We have many horses.
If any one of us is caught by these things, how quick do you think they are? They are quite tall. Do you think they could catch up to a horse on foot?
Let us stay inside the carriage. We know it to be a strong sanctuary. It is a well-designed piece of equipment. We just stay in front of it and run the course. I would say Sherrilyn probably should steer the horses. You have all the armor.
Yes, I have armor, but the rest of the horses do not.
Well, they have the Ankeg armor, which is on them, so that gives them some protection.
I feel as though simply running through them would only give us more issues were something to go wrong, rather than simply dealing with them before trying to go through.
So what, you want us to, send an emissary up to the things that eat people?
Considering the fact that they are ambushing and are clearly not in a talking mood, given their reaction to Inara's cries, I feel as though they do not take words well.
So you're suggesting a different thing. We sneak up on them and take them out. Okay, but that's fine, I guess. As long as we do it quickly.
I'm unopposed.
I don't know how we are going to get the jump on them unless we run a distraction through this valley here.
That is true. They seem content to hide behind these stone pillars, she says, sweeping her arm out over the valley below.
Is there any clear path that scales around that little gateway? Or is it that the only feasible pass through?
Not within your visible line of sight. I mean, there is the mountainside, right? Like, there's a cliffside here that you could climb. It would take a little while, but that would grant you an aerial view, and you could climb down the other side and get there. But at least not within your line of sight is there another entryway to this lower plateau, like a built structure that is made to navigate through this steep drop off of land. You might be able to go a little bit further down and find another pathway through with relative ease. Just right where you're looking. No,
Add time is the only thing if we go down further.
What if we tempted them to us and then managed them in the bottleneck that is below?
Ah, how would you tempt them, do you think? With the horses?
They seemed to recognize supplies. Maybe we set a trap for them with supplies, she says in air quotes.
All right. We just sort of let the cart idle. What, we hide inside of it, we hide around it, and when they approach, we spring out?
Or park it on the other side with the back open. There's nothing in there besides a couple of barrels. We wait slightly up the cliffside. We would have the height advantage.
That sounds strategically sound.
I should also mention that they are unaffected by fire. And as that's one of my main offensive abilities, then I might not be of much help.
That is fine. I can do wet stuff.
And you have that dagger.
Sorry.
I do have a dagger, although that requires me to get real up close and personal with them.
I'm in the same boat as Lady Inara. Most of my repertoire in the magical side is fire based, and so I will be with the van and taking them head on.
Right, so the two of you want to hide inside of the cart, since it seems like you will need to engage them in melee immediately?
Want to is a strong way to describe it.
It seems like we wanted to hide up the cliff and come down, but if all of us need to be there to attack, then I don't see why we do not hide just in the cart.
Perhaps some of us can be in the cart, and then when the trap is sprung, we can then pincer them, with them in between us rather than us in between them.
Yes, I can fire from a distance. I would happily be upon the cliff or wherever is a high point, and if Sherrilyn wants to go with me and charge to flank them, that might be a way to do it. Rourke, Ord, would you like to flank them also, or actually...
Perhaps they should stay with the Lady Leilani and the horses upwards from us, where they are safe.
Yes, that is probably for the best. I mean, Mikhail, Leilani, that's probably for the best for you. Rourke, I will say you can do whatever you want. You are, as far as I'm concerned, not in my charge.
Perhaps Rourke could trip another creature down an incline.
I mean, I think the tripping thing was dope. He fell down a ton of steps. You say that like it's sarcastic,
Yeah,
but I mean, it was
drop kicked him. It was sick as hell.
Yeah, it was sick as hell.
Everything I say sounds sarcastic.
Is it like a curse? Did a witch curse you?
Did a witch? Actually, that's interesting. Sherrilyn, did a witch curse you with sarcasm?
I've heard of stuff like that before.
It feels that that just might be her nature.
My curse is cynicism. Now, shall we get on with it?
Yes. So, what will make the cart more enticing? Do you want to light torches on it, or we are just going to wait?
Why don't you finger paint the back of it?
Look, I'm just saying, I feel like there's nothing we're really achieving here by doing this that we're not achieving by just running straight through the valley, is maybe my only thing. It deals with it faster. But we said we wanted it to be supplies, right? So we're just leaving the back open?
I think that as well. There were a couple of barrels back there, but I mean, we had hardly anything upon ourselves, as Inara boldly told them, though I doubt they understood everything that she said.
Well, I have an idea. Inara, that marigold paints that you have, could you maybe paint a couple piles of gold? I don't know, something that would glint in the sun. It's marigold anyway, look enticing.
You can take inspiration for making the connection that that paint could very easily be used to make gold. In fact,
Yeah.
It seems to be the perfect color to create gold pieces.
Yeah, you would just paint, right? Because it doesn't seem like it can produce anything of actual value, but you can just paint like some coins flowing out the back of the cart. Wonderful. Wunderbar.
Yeah, we park the car right next to like some boulders or stones, then I can paint the stones.
Yes. I mean, or meat. I mean, the meat would be gold, but still enticing.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, can I paint food
I mean,
or
paint like a
knapsacks?
cloche, like a plate with a cloche on top that is gold, and then they will be like, "Oh, delicious! It is food." But
Has
you don't
anyone paused to ask Inara if she has a great artist or
look at her. She
the
looks wonderful at
complexity
art.
of which she could draw something with this paint?
I think I could handle something like this. I've had to make many sketches for my experiments, so I have a basic skill, I would say.
Okay, yes, I think this is the plan. So we park the cart here on the sort of cliff edge. Anyone who wants to take a melee approach can go inside. Anyone who wants to ambush can go up on the cliff. We paint a big pile of gold, or Inara does, and then we try to ambush the ambusher.
Sherrilyn is digging around in the saddlebag to see if there was anything else that they could use that she might have forgotten about, and you see her pull out a stick. And she says, I wonder if this would help.
What? Oh,
She
you
tries
What
to
is
use
that?
the stick. The wand that they bought from the vendor in the smuggler's inn.
Oh,
from the merchants of merchant.
Is slightly terrifying.
Yeah, I think he was just a big bag of spiders in retrospect. So let's see how this
She's
goes.
flicking this wand like errantly in the air.
As you flick it in the air, you hear behind you just the entire force of like a 90 to 100 piece orchestra. Just all of them joining in unison at your finger to your exact beat and hand movement. You hear this orchestra loudly project out of the wand and kind of across the entire camp as you have a wand of orchestration.
Do we all hear it or just Sherrilyn?
Everybody does, yeah.
Whoa.
It goes across the board, echoing across.
Fuck.
Now
Did
that-
other people hear it?
That is a fine distraction.
Inara holds her ears down.
Yes, do we hear howling in the distance to the sound of the music?
The music can be heard out to a range of 60 feet, and it stops when you stop waving the wand around.
Sherrilyn would say, well, that's a fine trick.
Plato looks moved.
Are there any particular instruments that play when she waves the swan?
Oh, it's big brass. There's tubas. There's flutes. It's like it's as many instruments as you've heard playing in a chorus together that move in each beat to the wand swing, within 60 feet of you.
And the music is sensical that comes from it. Like it does sound like a melody.
Yeah, it sounds like a melody that is keeping rhythm to your hand movement specifically.
She waves it a few more times just to test it out.
Very loud. But, wonderful.
That will certainly get someone's attention.
Yes, well, if our painted ploy does not attract the... What did you call them, my lady?
Well, they're a mutated form of jackals. Have you encountered those canines before?
No, I have not heard of jackals either.
Hey, I almost got bit by one once. Work says. I was really worried about turning into one.
So do not get bitten by them. Good advice. All right,
Yes, perhaps you should not kick them then.
Inara, could you maybe begin painting some gold in our cart? And what Sherrilyn and I will find a place to ambush?
Yeah, she takes out the marigold paint jars and goes to work. Wait, am I painting this on the cart or outside the cart?
Like pouring out of the cart.
Perhaps painting a small pile of stones to look like gold.
So yeah, she goes to find some rocks and starts painting gold on it. And I think she'll also try painting a couple of like light beige sacks, I guess, that could contain food and supplies.
So as you do this, as you paint these two-dimensional figures on these surfaces, it does, and it creates the third-dimensional version of it. It looks like real gold to you. No part of it looks fake whatsoever. As you kind of flip it over, and you can smell the food with your intent. I mean, what kind of food would you create? It could be any.
I think she would, as she's painting it, be thinking of like dried meats and bread, which is what you would carry with you through the desert. So yeah, make sure like there's a sack that smells especially of dried meats or just animal goods, basically.
It definitely does, and it looks like it, and you think it is probably it. It is, of course, all marigold yellow. Where are we putting the cart? Kind of at the top here?
Yes, I think not in the entryway, a little farther back from it with the intention that we could dip in front of it in case for some reason they try to attack the cart.
We were planning on having some people in the carriage.
Inara and Francis, I believe.
Yeah, Noah and Francis would be in the cart waiting for them to actually walk up to it.
The horses will be uninvolved in this, hopefully. I was thinking of perhaps hiding just around the corner of the archway. So when they come to the carriage and Inara and Francis spring it wide open, I am right there.
That sounds good. If we want to keep Leilani and Ord safe, we might be able to keep them sort of down at one of these lower levels. I would prefer they be out of combat and not just like in the cart. Maybe.
Well, they can be a few hundred feet behind you with the rest of the horses, like waiting for you to clear out the entryway.
That sounds fine to me.
Let us keep the height advantage and let them come to us. I am definitely a tactician. And definitely seen real combat.
Definitely.
Jackal noises, jackal noises. Jackal noises. Loud jackal noises that are getting louder and louder. You see them start to emerge like swarms coming from behind the ruins, heading in your direction.
As we hear the noises get closer, Inara will brandish her dagger. Yeah, the dagger of venom. So she brandishes her dagger of venom and I guess whisper at it and cause the black poison to coat the blade.
Francis is in the cart with Nara. He takes the sentinel of her and like wrapping around the prayer beads around his wrist. He kind of takes that and his shield in hand is kind of like pressed up against the backside of the cart, kind of like making sure that he can hear relatively well whenever the jackals start approaching.
Plato is preparing an Eldritch Blast and is actually going to stay on the same side as Sherrilyn. He sort of stacks up behind Sherrilyn, waiting and preparing something. And he's sort of muttering to himself.
She sees you're concentrating quite hard, and she takes this as an opportunity to say, I do think this is the closest you and I have ever been to each other, Mr. Ardavian.
You're forgetting when you grabbed my shirt in the cart.
Yes, I was forgetting that. She is preparing to attack any of these jackals that happen to pass through the doorway. And for clarification, we have unhitched and tethered the horses farther up the cliff. So it is just the cart sitting there stationary with Inara and Francis in it and us standing alongside.
And these jackal wares can clearly see that you're not liturgy.
With the excellent finger painting skills of our companion.
As you see them all emerge from behind the ruinous structures headed towards this once great gate, you see there's actually a mix of colors here. There are some darker brown jackal wares among these red, almost tumorous looking spotted red jackal wares that you know Inara to be the Scorch Runners. They move in 3 packs, heading from 3 different distinct parts of the ruins. 2 of them head directly up to the center of the stairs, and then 3 and 3 taking the right and left flanks, as they are going to try and approach this cart from different angles. All of them at present are currently in their full jackal form, moving as quickly as they can across the desert structure as you see them all approach. Go ahead and roll me some initiative.
I've gotten 11.
21.
An 11 for Plato 2, Sherrilyn and Plato. What's
My dexterity modifier is 0.
mine's +1 after the level up.
Oh, look at you.
So fancy.
But one thing I'm going to need from you all is stealth checks going into this as you hide in preparation for them to approach the cart.
Excellent point, and I shall do that with my +0. Oh, yes, and I rolled a 2.
Varden watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, the paladin.
So clanky.
And now the paladin attempts stealth.
Do you have disadvantage on that with your heavy armor?
Yeah, I probably do.
Ugh.
Wait, what
Make sure to
armor
roll
am
with
I wearing?
disadvantage if you do.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
14
Hold on.
for me, but I assume I reach out and touch Sherilyn's shoulder and she clanks.
That's a natural 20.
Nice.
Dirty 20 for Inara, 16 plus 4.
Nice.
Yes, the two stealthy people are in the cart.
Alright, we're hiding.
Yes, you're right. She does actually roll with disadvantage. Yes, here we go.
Cart squad's got it going on.
Don't worry, it was still single digits, but not quite as bad as 2. So yes, you do reach over, and she is itching something, and all of her armor is clickety clacking.
Clank, clankety, clank, clank.
Yeah, Plato, I think you see with your passive insight that they're all headed directly towards Sherrilyn. Like they aren't headed towards the cart as bait. They're just headed towards Sherrilyn, standing there coming through the gateway as fresh meat as they begin charging.
Paintings.
Can I accordingly change my plan just a little bit and change the spell I am preparing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I want to prepare a twin spell casting of Misty Step.
Sounds good to me.
Do you think the color of my hair alarmed them?
We're starting this with Francis. Francis, you're inside of the cart that is currently the S word that means staying still. But yeah, it's at the top of the staircase.
Stasis.
In stasis.
Static.
Static?
Static.
No.
Steady.
Any S word
Something
that
like that.
steady. Any S word you
Stalwart.
think of, audience. That
What's
is
your
what it's
favorite
doing.
S word that means
Bust
there?
out your thesaurus now.
But Francis, it is a year ago. I'm assuming the accordion door has been shut.
Yeah, like basically outside of the windows and like already openings that would be on the cart, like everything is just closed off. And he hears just the clanking going on with Sherrilyn's armor. And he's just thinking, all right, well, this has already gone south real quick. And he is going to prepare a cantrip for when the jackals eventually do get within 5 feet of the cart.
Sounds good. And that brings us to one of the jackal wares. It is going to use its turn to dash. And it has a speed of 40 feet, so it's going to be moving a total of 80 feet this round as it begins heading up the left part of this staircase, this kind of heavier climb, this steep separation of plateaus. As he's going to head up 40 feet. He gets up this third round of staircases, headed towards you all. The range on Misty Step is 60 feet, I believe? Or is it 30 feet?
Can you target me with Misty Step since it's a self-only spell?
I'm a sorcerer with twin cast.
Yes, according to Roll20 twin spell, it has to not have a range of self.
Okay, yeah, so you can't do Misty Step.
Well, sorry about that, but I am going to leave.
And there he goes running again.
Yep, I am going to Misty Step away from Sherrilyn.
Where are you Misty Stepping to?
I'm going to Misty Step behind the cart.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, that brings us to one of the Scorched Runner Jackals, who is going to begin running up the right side, doing a running leap using a dash action.
Plato is not beating the allegations.
Called playing my character.
Okay, buddy.
Howard playing your character.
Ranged spells.
With that brings us to Inara inside of the cart next to Francis.
Okay, seeing the one on the right approaching, Inara's gonna stick her hand out from behind, like, I'm guessing there's like a canvas that we're hiding behind on either side of the opening to the back of the cart. So she's going to quickly stick her hand out and cast Ray of Sickness towards that jackal. So trying to stay as hidden as possible, at least from the rest of them.
Awesome. And Ray's Sickness is a saving throw?
Make a ranged spell attack against a target.
Right. Hell yeah.
Okay, and then if it hits, it has to make a Constitution saving throw.
If she's attempting to do this stealthily, I think it would kind of snake out of the side of the cart, and so to hide that there was someone in there casting it, since they see her already, Sherrilyn would do this. She would note the presence of this magic, and then she'd make this strange gesturing with her arm as if she knew how to cast this magic to try and help out, like, and make it look like it was her.
Okay, well, that was a nat one, so I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll that.
I think Mr. Ardavian did it like this.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Natural 20.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Alright. Oh, that was cons. Okay. For con save, we're working with an 8.
Okay, so that fails. So on a hit, it takes 2d8 poison damage, which is 9 points of poison damage. And then since it failed the con save, it is now also poisoned until the end of my next turn.
Yeah, so you instantly bloody him. What does this look like?
You see like a glowing aura almost travel across the air. I guess sort of looking like it's coming from Sherrilyn's weird actions. But yeah, it surrounds him, and as he takes a deep inhale, you see these vapors almost like absorb through his orifices, nose, mouth, ears, and then he starts to bleed out of them.
Amazing.
He bleeds out of his orifices.
Any bonus action?
I don't think there's anything I can do from the back of this cart. No, not right now.
All right, that brings us to a series of jackal wares. This one is going to use his action to dash and move up 80 feet directly up the central staircase towards the cart. This Scorch Runner jackal ware is going to run up 40 feet right here. And then you see as he begins to shine bright, his golden fur kind of infused with this bright light that's really hard to look at for a second. His mouth opens and this ray of fire comes directly out of him, headed towards Sherrilyn as he uses his flame ray attack. It's going to be, it's a hit. Okay, that's a 3 plus 4 for 7 total.
I like to think it whizzes straight past her face and she leans back on one heel and watches it collide with the stone next to her. Well, that was close.
He is going to use his bonus action to use his daylight skirmish ability. With how bright it is outside, he's going to keep himself as bright as he is without having to use any extra energy here. So he's going to take the dodge action for free. And all attacks against him will have disadvantage. All right, that brings us to this other one who is going to use his movement to move up 40 feet. And he's going to open his jaw, absorb the sun, turn bright, and make that exact same attack against Sherrilyn.
She readies herself this time, holding up her shield.
A 14 plus flame ray, plus 4, 18.
Meets her AC, so it hits. It's going to collide with her shield and knock her backwards.
All right, that is going to be...
Plato gets a guilty look from Harkin.
Ooh.
She'll be fine.
It's going to be 8 on the die. Sun-powered Harrier. All right, plus 2. It's going to be 10 points of fire damage total.
Oof. She'll be fine.
Then as he glows, he's going to use his bonus action to channel the energy he has within him to take the dash action rather than the dodge action, and he runs right up on Sherrilyn.
Actually, as the fire hits, it manages to slam into her shield and send her reeling just to the side. Her arm catches on the this archway, and she manages to stay upright. But as she takes this damage, the hot flames sort of enveloping her upper abdomen. It doesn't feel as hot as she thought it would feel, as she has resistance to fire damage with the chromatic rose that she got from Enka's garden.
Wow, amazing. As the fire, the rose begins to glow on your body, almost mimicking the biology on these creatures that are able to harness the sun.
It's a red rose night.
Poetic. And I believe it is my turn?
I believe so.
All right.
It is. Sherrilyn Astalder, Inquisitor Generalis Telfanir, it is your go.
Thank you for using my full title appropriately. Well pronounced. She will lean around this archway with her spear, intending to take a jab at this werejackal that's charged her. But before she makes the strike, she's going to use her bonus action to cast Wrathful Smite on herself, which is going to apply extra psychic damage to her next melee weapon attack. All right. Ooh. And she's going to miss, I believe, as she rolled a 2 plus 4 for a 6 total. Unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
She plunges her spear forward, and as this werejackal cackles at her, the spear manages to go under his arm instead of into his body, and she imitates his laughter back. Is that funny?
It makes an insane jackal screech.
That will be her turn.
Plato, it is your go. You're looking down the barrel of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, I am not exactly
9.
looking down the barrel of them because I think I teleported behind the cart so that I would not be a target and Sherrilyn would. But I will in a moment as I step forward and up onto the bench of the cart, and then I want to try and jump up onto the top of the cart if it is at all possible. I will use all my movement to do this.
Yeah, definitely possible in all your movement.
Excellent.
The cart is sturdy and large.
So I'm pressing my back to the front where the bench is. I then turn around to look at where Sherrilyn is engaged with Jackalware, and turning around in 2 swift strides, I step up the ornate wood of the Honhopian cart to get a bird's eye view from the top of it. And I will twin spell my Eldritch Blast. So you hear Francis and Inara, who are inside of the cart, hear my footsteps on top of it. Tap, tap, tap. So, yes, I will take 2 attacks. You see the glowing ether neural sort of network that is semi like the Lichtenberg figure inside of his arm. You see it like sort of parts of it like bulge up and then kind of like bloop out like a little sphere inside, 2 of them, and then the spheres rush towards the front of his arm and sort of head in the 2 different directions of the Jackalware. So I will roll those. All right, I will use inspiration to re-roll the second one. That is a 15 plus 5 and a 17 plus 5. So a 20 and a...
Yeah, those are both
22.
definitely going to hit.
Excellent. As the energy goes flying down the steps and across the field, he will do... It will be 7 points of damage to the first one, force damage, and 9 to the second.
Instantly bloodying the second one.
Excellent. I run up and just start laying down cover fire.
Love that. Do you literally go prone on the top of the cart?
No, I will kneel on the top of the cart. Sort of. I don't know what sort of ornate structures are up there, but I'm sort of dodging around them.
All right. With that brings us to the Jackal Wares. This one is going to use his turn to take the dash action, moving his 40 feet with his movement up the stairs, headed directly towards the archway that you all are currently calling home. He's going to, again, use his action to dash to scurry another 40 feet, closing the distance more significantly here, just finding himself 25 feet short of Sherrilyn, guaranteeing he'll hopefully reach her next turn. That brings us to this other Jackalware who's going to do the same thing. He's just going to sprint full 80 feet as fast as he can, rushing Sherrilyn, finding himself only 5 feet away from her.
I think it's actually Sherrilyn who's staring down this angry, hungry pack of Jackalwares.
That brings us to this Scorch Runner Jackal. You see him glow in the high heat and beautiful high sun day. He only has 30 feet of movement speed, and he moves to the bottom of the staircase. He's then going to use his bonus action to take a dash, as the sun is bright in the sky, fueling him for his extra sun-powered Harrier ability. With this, he is going to scurry another 30 feet up the stairs. He's then going to let out like this unpleasant belch sound as the tumorous masses on his body that are pulsating with this heat expel for a second, as out of his mouth a firebolt is extended as it aims directly towards Plato above the cart. It's going to be with a +5 to hit.
Do I have half cover given the angle and the cart?
You are kneeling. Yeah, I'll give you half cover. So that's +2 AC. There's so many dice in front of me, and none of them are the right one.
I've got some in my room upstairs. Do you need a D20?
Yeah. Oh, this is so nice. I think he just came and gave me the die that I'm going to literally use to roll to try and hit him.
Might have signed his own death warrant.
Ooh, that's a 19 on the die.
Why did you give him the good one?
Yeah,
That's
she
going to
could
be
have been in the bad one.
24 total to hit.
Yes, of course that will hit.
As the fire flame ray belches out of him. It's actually going to be 23 to hit, but I think that still hits, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
But a baby.
All right, that's 3 plus 2. That's going to be 5 points of fire damage.
Oh, my arm steams.
The jackal begins to glow brightly. The tumor is kind of expressed. He now has half cover against all attacks more than 30 feet away from it until the start of its next turn. That brings us to this one, who's going to take a very similar turn. He's going to move 30 feet, scrambling up here, take his bonus action to use the sunlight to move him another 30 feet, and then he's going to belch forth sunlight, expressing the flame tumors, this time aiming at Sherrilyn. Sherrilyn, a firebolt coming right from his throat, right for you. Your held shield high in the sky. All right, it's going to be a 16 on the die, plus 4 for a dirty 20.
Dude, well, I'm afraid, well, even with my shield, that will still hit me.
All right, that is going to be 5 points of fire damage.
I'm reduced to 3 because of the chromatic rose.
All right, that brings us to this regular Jackalware. He's going to use his action to dash, and he doesn't have any cool flame spit stuff, so he is going to spend his whole turn moving up this staircase. All of them now kind of well within view as they begin to storm this cart that they believe fully is filled with gold and supplies. With that, that brings us to the start of initiative with Francis inside of said cart. Francis, what are you going to do?
So seeing that, or at least hearing for the most part, the commotion going on outside between Sherrilyn taking her hit and Plato being spat upon, Francis is going to very quickly hop out of the cart, and then with his censer with the rosary wrapped around the hilt, he is going to start spinning it, kind of like it is a flail. Only like as he does, he starts muttering to himself, and both prayer beads and the censer will start glowing like that very light glow as he will cast or use his channel divinity to cast Radiance of Dawn.
Absolutely. First up is this one right next to Sherrilyn, who is going to get a 17 plus 1 for 18. The one underneath you here is going to get a 2 plus 0. For the audience, there's 2 different types of Jackalwares here. One has a plus 1 of the con save, one has a plus 0. So the one beneath you is definitely going to fail. The 2 on the staircase. First up is the Squitch Runner, who's going to get a 17. And one next to him is going to get a 4. I'm sensing a pattern here. All right, so I've got 2 more just regular Jackalwares within this range as this pulse of beautiful light. And Francis, this is much brighter than you were expecting. That's a 3, and that is a nat 20 for the final one. So we have 3 failures. The 3 closest regular Jackalwares to you all failed. Go ahead and roll me that damage.
A terrible average.
Damn, that'd be 12 points of damage for all who failed and 6 for all who saved.
Damn, it still does damage on a failure. That's brutal. The 3 that are closest to you are immediately bloodied. The light pulses through them, kind of stripping away their flesh, exposing this raw red nerve as the radiance pulses through them. Their eyes kind of pulsating for a second, this golden aura surrounding them as this just tears apart their life force. The others kind of grunting, used to this heat, used to this bright light, able to take the blow. And this one Jackalware gets really lucky. He just happens to be right behind his buddy with his nat 20, and they're only going to take half damage here and are not bloodied.
Could do with another one of those, Sir Thon.
What was that?
But that was brilliant.
He he will ignore the playful banter from the Perian and Medean.
I was impressed.
As he's continuing to whirl, like even though he's caught off guard by like how bright it was, he's going to continue whirling the sensor around. As he does, he is going to, almost unsure, but also like trusting in it. He's going to utter Lanajiman, and from the sensor, like that, like the incense that was in it will just ignite in a very like not thick cloud of smoke, but like pretty like present. like will start like going around everyone in a 10-foot radius of him. And so at the end of every turn, all allies in that little 10-foot radius will have 1d4 healing.
Sherrilyn, as this mist kind of surrounds you, you feel palpable the respect Francis has for you. Like, physically surround you for a moment as you look towards him.
Oh, she makes the music sound.
A hell of a turn, Francis. Alright, that brings us to Inara. Inara, that's your go. You are in the cart. Directly above you is Plato, knelt down over this valley of warring jackals that are storming your cart at present. What do you do?
Okay, so she's watching from between the curtain sheets, whatever, that block the back of the cart, and seeing some of them lash out and attack her party mates with what looks like pure sunlight. And holding out her hand, she will again cast Ray of Sickness, seeing how effective was the last time.
Oh yeah, rolled a hit?
14 on the die plus 5, so 19 to hit.
Oh yeah, it definitely hits.
Nice. Okay. So that's 6 points of poison damage. And it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
It's gonna be a 17.
So that saves. And then do we all get to roll a d4?
If you're within the incense of Francis, you can roll a d4, which you are, as it kind of wafts into the cart through the opening that you're looking through.
Thank you.
I assumed respect for Sherrilyn. Francis, this item, it is projecting positive emotions that you have towards these other people as it heals them. Your love for them in whatever form that takes. What does it feel like for Nara as this sense that you're projecting out from the sensor, channeling your divine magics? What does it feel like?
It would almost be like a tenderness, not in the sense of like strong love or emotion, but a deep care and like wanting to protect them.
Like a brotherly love almost?
You can make that argument as brotherly love, but definitely
Okay.
like a strong sense of like I want to like be at your side and make sure that you're okay.
Inadvertent
Aw.
friend zone.
I was gonna say, I got a 3 on the die, but I realized I'm at full HP, so I'm fine.
All right, Nara, is that your go?
Yes, for now. Yeah, that's it.
All right, it brings us to this Scorch Runner Jackal here, who's going to use his bonus action to take the dash. He's going to use his movement, and he's going to run up on Francis at full speed, and in a frenzy of attacks, he is going to take 2 bites against him as he attempts to lock down onto Francis's neck here. Oh, that's a nat 20 on the first one.
Silvery Bobs.
Okay. Okay, and it was 17 for the second one, but let me reroll this first one real quick. Oh, that's a 19! Plus 5 for 24. So 24 on first bite. Who do you give advantage to?
I give the advantage back to Francis. You see me looking through my hand on top of Zakat, the way I do when the universe is dividing.
Sarthana, if you had only paused slightly closer to me, I might have intervened.
If only.
So that was a 24 and a 17.
So the 24 would definitely get through, and the 17 meets it.
Those are both going to get through. Sarthon, as you feel these like dirty, jagged teeth cut through the flesh exposed on your neck, I need 2 con saving throws, please and thank you. And then it's going to be 9 points of piercing damage total.
So that's a 14 and a nat 20.
Good
Please
stuff.
don't make me huff the incense. I'm gonna.
Brings us to this Jackalware, who is going to use his turn using his action to move, dash, going the long way here, also running up on Francis. But he does not have the action economy to attack as well. This Jackalware is going to use its movement to kind of almost complete the surround here that they've got going on Francis. It does have enough action economy to attack here. It does have pack tactics, as there are other Jackalwares, but it is only going to get 1 attack as a regular Jackalware. So it is going to use its bite as well. Actually, no. You see it look deep into your eyes, Francis. and it yawns. A big, big yawn as its eyes begin to glow. I need a wisdom saving throw.
Make me work to stay alive.
The Silvery Bob's effect, remember?
So is that just like on your next saving throw?
On the on the next attack roll ability check or saving throw. So it would be this one.
19.
Yeah, 19 is definitely enough, as whatever he was trying to do to you just takes no hold, as he kind of begins to do this hyena-like laugh right in your face. And then it is this Scorch Runner's turn, who is going to run up here. He's then going to open his mouth, and this one is going to let out 2 flame spit attacks. One coming at Plato, who you still have your half cover, and one coming at Sherrilyn, as it doesn't want to hurt its friends doing this around on Francis. First one coming for Plato. It's going to be 12 plus 4 for 16. And then Sherrilyn, 16 plus 4 for 19.
Just the same as before. Yes, that will slip past my defenses.
I think I'm at 13 right now, so I'm also hit.
All right, Plato, that is going to be 3 points of fire damage. And Sherrilyn, that is going to be 5 points of fire damage. Reduced to 3 because of the flower.
Your wonderful rose.
All right, that brings us to the Scorch Runner, who is right on top of Sherrilyn. It is going to attempt to bite her twice, trying to find some holes within the armor here.
Excellent.
The first is going to be a 9 total.
Definitely not.
And the second is going to be a nat 1.
Certainly. She will lean behind the pillar and his teeth will meet rock.
It's like stuck for a second as it gets some of the rubble in between. It's like, as it's like spitting some of the rubble out of the ground.
Charming creatures.
It's full go. Sherrilyn, that's your turn.
Yes, Sherrilyn is feeling quite blessed by this flower that Enka had given her as a gift in this moment. She was holding on to it for someone other than herself, but it is coming in handy just this moment in this particular encounter. Francis, what is your armor class?
17.
Really? All right then. Well, pardon me for making assumptions about your fragility.
It's me. I am the one that is weak.
I gathered that impression when you retreated to the cart,
I'm hiding on top of the cot.
leaving me to the jaws of many a beast. Yes, she sees them surrounding Francis as he has interposed himself between her and these jackal wares as they are ascending the stairs. And she will come around the pillar as this one's teeth are stuck in the rock, and she will come to stand back to back with him, getting herself within melee range of these other ones that are gathering beneath the archway. Please do not make me regret this, Sir Thon.
I wouldn't dream of making you do something you regret.